So let's say you have an app that looks something like this. You've been building it, it's nice, you run it, it works, everything is fine. One of the problems with these apps is that it's not personalized. And typically, if you're going to be building apps, they will be personalized, meaning that they're going to show some kind of information that's tailored, customized to a particular user. And so with all the examples that we've done thus far, a lot of these apps, or pretty much all of these apps, they're kind of for everybody. They're open for any user. But that's not how it's going to work in real life. And so in this video, I'm going to show how you can use the powerful features of FlutterFlow to personalize your apps, to create a customizable, personalizable experience. And this is going to be a requirement if you are looking to build any kind of an app, if you're looking to build and sell an app, or pretty much if you're looking to build an app that people are going to use. You will need to create some kind of personalization using authentication and authorization. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, before we begin, if you like NoCode, if you're interested in building software without writing a single line of code, you don't want to get technical, you don't want to get a computer science degree, then you've come to the right place. Make sure you smash the like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any future videos. Having said that, let's get started. So if you look at this diagram, this is the FlutterFlow authentication flow, okay? We have a user. When they come to the app does not know who this user is. They haven't logged in yet, okay? So what the app is gonna do, FlutterFlow app, is gonna redirect to something called the login authenticator. And depending on which method you're gonna use, and FlutterFlow supports a ton of different ways to do authentication. Maybe it's going to be using Google, maybe it's going to be using Apple, maybe it's going to be Facebook, Twitter, maybe it's just going to be email and password. Whatever the method you choose, whatever the screen they see, they're going to authenticate. After that, they're going to get redirected back to the app and they're going to see personalized content. And so now that you understand the basic architecture, let's go into FlutterFlow and let's create this app together. We're going to hit this blank project screen. And we're gonna call this personalized app, okay? We're gonna do create new, just gonna do next step here. And here is important, you gotta enable this authentication, and I recommend enabling this create user collection. Okay, it automatically adds a user collection to a Firestore for logged in users. This is good because you can store various information that you can show to the user. So let's turn that on as well. Next, it's asking us for initial pages. So we have the entry page, which is the login page, and we have the logged in page. And so when the user initially goes to the app doesn't know who the user is. So essentially, we need to have them logged in one way or another. And this is where you show them the login page, or you have a button, depending on how you want them to log in or not. Once they're logged in, the FlutterFlow is automatically going to redirect to this logged in page. So let's create a couple of these pages here. You can just click on it and create a new one. So let's call this home page. And so let's call this login page. We're going to create new. And this logged in page, let's call it logged in page. Okay, we're going to create new. Okay, so now we have it. We also need the Firebase project ID. And so right now is a good time to go ahead and create a Firebase project. So I'm going to go into Firebase. I'm going to go to the console here, and I'm going to create a new project, okay, for this app. We're going to call it personalized app BRJ for project. We're going to hit continue. We're going to say create project. All right, your new project is ready. We're going to hit continue. And now we are inside the dashboard for this new project. What you want to do is you want to go into this build tab here, and you want to click on authentication, okay? Now you're going to say get started. And now you have an array of options that you can authenticate the user against. Okay, so it says here, get started with Firebase Auth by adding your first sign-in method. So we have all of these providers. And what this essentially means is that we do not need to code this authentication method ourselves. We can have them use the Google account, right? Everybody has a Google account, at least the majority of people have a Google account. You probably have a Google account. And so we can just check with Google if they're logged in and then have Google passing the account information to us. We can do that. But today I want to show you a very, very simple method. We're going to be using email and password. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to enable it and I'm going to hit save. And now we have this authentication method set up, okay? Next, what I want to do is I want to click on this gear icon here. I want to go to project settings and I want to copy this project ID because we need to tell FlutterFlow which Firebase project, which Firebase app to kind of work against. So we're going to go back to FlutterFlow. We're going to paste this project ID. We're going to say connect. We're going to get an error because it wants us to give it permissions. It wants us to add Firebase at flutterflow.io as an editor to this project. So we're going to go back in here, users and permissions, add member, and we're going to say Firebase at flutterflow.io, and this is going to be an editor. Done, add member. We're going to go back and we're going to say connect. Now it should connect. Okay, we're connected. You want to click on auto generate config files here. You want to do that. You're going to wait a couple of minutes. All right, it says here Firebase setup is complete. We're going to do start building. The next thing you guys want to do is you want to go into settings and integrations and you want to go to authentication. Okay, you want to make sure all the settings are here. It's enabled. We have the initial pages. We have everything set up. You can also go into Firebase and make sure everything here is set up. So it looks like our authentication is correctly set up, okay? Now, there's another thing you guys want to do is, if you go into Firestore here, you're going to have this collection, a users collection, okay? And you can go into settings, and what this does is that it select which collection users will be added to when a user creates an account. And so when they create an account, it's also going to create a document inside this collection with various pieces of information. This is awesome. So what you guys want to do is you want to go back to your Firebase console. You want to go into build. You want to go into Firestore database, and you want to create a database to store these users once they create accounts. We're going to say create a database. Just going to do it in test mode. Hit enable. And now we have a database created. And so if we go back to our app, we go to the Firestore tab here, go into settings, Firestore settings. You want to deploy these rules here, these Firestore rules. You want to hit deploy, and now it's showing you the rules, and we're going to say deploy now. Okay, now it's deployed. And so now if you go back to Firebase, you will see you have no users collections just yet. But when you create a user account, it's going to automatically create a record here, and I'm going to show you that in a second. And now what you want to do is you want to go back inside your app and you want to create the proper logic, okay? So we need something to create a user account, and we also need something to show the user once they're logged in, something personalized, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so if we go back here and we click on this page selector, we have the login page, which is the page that the user sees when they're not yet logged in. This is the initial page. And we have the logged in page, which is the page that the user sees once they have been successfully authenticated. And this is the second page. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say login page. We're going to do something like login. And what we're going to do is we are going to create a sample form that will allow the user to register, okay? So if we go back here, we're in the column. We may want to start adding different fields. So what I want to do is enter a text field here, and I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so this is a column, and that's why the stuff inside the column is arranged vertically. If I wanted it horizontally, I would create a row. And so let's create a sample form. Let's create another button, and this is going to be their email, and this is going to be their password, and that way we can register their account. It's some kind of a sign up or registration page, for instance. So let's have some kind of a hint email, and this is going to be password. Now for the password field, you want to make sure you select this password field thing here, this password field toggle here. Okay, very, very important. And now we have a basic registration form. Okay, so if you click on this button, okay, and you go to the actions here and you add an action, And what you want to do is you want to scroll down and you want to pick Firebase Authentication. We're going to say create an account, okay? Next, we're going to pick the auth provider. We're going to say email. And now it wants the email field and the password field, the two required fields in order to create this account. So the email, actually, let's go ahead and name these fields real quick. So I'm just going to do email field, email input. Actually, let's do input email. And this is going to be input password. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the button. I'm going to rename the button something like, I'm going to say sign in or sign up. One thing you want to do is you want to add a confirm password field as well. So I'm going to duplicate this real quick. This is going to say confirm password. Okay. And I'm going to say input password to here. And then if I click on this, we have our input password too. So we have, and I'm going to click on the action tab here. And I'm going to say we have email, and I'm going to say input email, input password. And now we have a setting here. Do we want to create a user document? And it says here, whether to create the user document when the user is authenticated. If a user document already exists, it will not override it, and the user will be logged in. So this is a good option. It's very, very helpful, okay? And we have the collection here. We have other fields as well, but we really do not need that. All we need to do is create this user account. We have this button using a authentication group, create account, and these are all the fields that we're passing, okay? Email, password, password too. Once the user fills all the information, it's gonna go ahead and create that account. And we don't really care how it does it, but it's gonna do it. It's gonna be really, really nice. So now let's try to run this app and create this account, because this is gonna be our sign up page, okay? So I'm gonna run the app. All right, so if you run the app, we see this initial screen. It acts as a sign up form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a sample account. We're gonna do sign up. And as you can see, once I sign up, it redirected me to the second page. Now this page is empty, but this is gonna be the page that's gonna show personalized information, okay? And now if we go back to Firestore project, we see that we have a collection called users, and we have one document, which is the account I just created here. And so now we have an account created, and now we can change the way the initial page works and change it to a login page. Now, obviously, when you're going to be building this app, you're going to have multiple pages. But in the interest of this tutorial, in the interest of making it very simple, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the app, and I'm going to change the way this app works. So I'm going to delete this confirm password field, and this is going to be a login page here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the button, and instead of create an account, I'm going to do auth. I'm going to pick auth, and I'm going to say login. And now we need two fields, input email, input password, which I'm going to leave the same. And the next thing I want to do is while we're here, I'm going to go to the second page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of things here. Okay, I'm going to add a text here just to display something about the user so that you can see it's perfectly personalized. And we have a column here, and maybe we can, what we want to do is maybe we want to create a row, and we want to put this here inside. Then we want to do a text, and this text we want it to be maybe bigger, and we want this row to be centered. And then I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna duplicate it, and instead of a text, I'm gonna delete the text, I'm gonna add a button. And what this button is gonna do is gonna allow me to log out, okay? Because we want to test the logic. So this button is gonna say log out, because at this stage the user is logged in. So I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna say logged in user. Or maybe this can say welcome back, and then the username. So here we are gonna show some personalized information about the user so that you understand that, you know, once the user sees this page, they're logged in. So we're gonna say, we're gonna click on this field, we're gonna say set from variable, we're gonna pick authenticated user, and now we have all of these things that we can use, okay? We can use display name, we have email, user ID, but if we go back to our project, we do not have those fields, okay? So what I'm gonna do is we can do email, okay? So we can do email, that's gonna work. But if you want to do display name, you want to do something extra, what you want to do is you want to go back to Firestore. You want to go to your collections, to users. You want to do manage content. And you want to pick this user here and you want to enter display name. Okay, obviously that is something that you can do when you're creating the user account, but we don't do that, so we need to do it manually. So I'm going to say James NoCode here. I can also upload a photo URL, a phone number, etc., etc. I'm going to say update document. And if I go back to my Firebase, Firestore, I see this display name updated in real time. And so if I go back to the app here, instead of an email, I can do display name. Okay, so I can click on this text, click on set from variable, click on edit here, and I can pick display name and say confirm. Always do confirm because it doesn't do it automatically. We can also do logout. So provided that we log in correctly, we're gonna see the display name that we have for that record. And now for the logout, we're gonna click on logout. I'm gonna do action. I'm gonna do add an action. I'm just gonna type auth, Firebase authentication, and we're gonna do logout. Okay, so this is the logout action. So what's nice about it, why it's so powerful, is that if you click here and you go to auth, look at all the things that you can do. Okay, we have the email, right? The email method. We have login, create account, phone sign in, logout, reset password, verify SMS code, send email verification link, delete user. So many cool things that you can do. And back in the day, when I was doing all kinds of development and stuff like that years ago, I had to do it all myself. So this is gonna save you tons and tons of time. So we're gonna log out here, okay? So when we log out, we're gonna see that initial page, okay? But when we log in, we're gonna see this page with the display name, okay? So let's go back. This is actually a login action, which is kind of what we want, not create account action. And so we have all of this here. And now let's run it and see if that works. All right, so once we run the app, we are logged in. Remember, we created an account previous time, so the app remembers it. And it's automatically displaying my display name, right? If I go back here, it's James NoCode. So what's cool about it, if you want to modify it, let's say I just do James display name, I do update, I go back, it automatically refreshes it and shows it, just to show you how real time it is. So if I hit log out, I go back to the login screen. So let me try to log in again. I hit login, this should be login, and I'm logged in. Okay, I can go back and I'm back in the login screen. Now, one thing you guys got to understand here is, if I don't know the correct name or password and I have problems logging in, so if I enter a random password and I click this button, nothing is gonna happen. Okay, so you need to incorporate some kind of logic to the user so that they know that the information they entered is incorrect. You need to display something, okay? So you see nothing happens. If I enter the correct password, it redirects me, okay? So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. Let me show you one quick way that you can do it. So if you come in here and we do a duplicate, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna display some text. Actually, we might want to display it above this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this, and above this I'm gonna say this is not input email. This is going to be, I'm gonna add text, and that's just gonna display a message. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this thing. And this thing is going to be our message, like incorrect login or whatever you want to do it. So this is going to display the message. So it's going to say something like incorrect login, something like this. Maybe we can make it even in red. I don't know, something like this. Okay, we can also kind of pad it a little bit, maybe 10 from the top, 10 from the bottom. Now, you do not want to display this all the time. You only want to display it after they hit the button. It doesn't matter if they enter the correct login or the incorrect login, because if they press the button and they entered the correct login, it's going to get redirected to the other page. So it doesn't matter if it's displayed or not. If they entered incorrect information, then it's going to be still on this page, and they're going to see this message. Now, a quick and easy way of doing it is you want to create a local state. Okay, we're going to add local state, and I'm just going to call it tried logging in. This is just a quick and easy way. We're going to do a Boolean. Okay, we're gonna create, and the value is false. Okay, so it's false because they haven't tried logging in. We're gonna go back here and we're gonna click on this button. We're gonna open the action flow editor, and you want to create a new action, add an action, and you want to go above it. So if they click on the button, we want that user state variable set. So we're gonna pick this action. We're gonna say local, update local state. We're gonna pick that variable, and we're gonna set value, and we're gonna say true. Okay, we're gonna say true. That way, when they click, this variable is gonna be true, and this thing is only gonna show up once the variable is true. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to conditional visibility, and what we're gonna say is local state tried logging in. So we only want it to be displayed if this variable is true. Okay, so let's run that. All right, so we launch the app. We see it's not being displayed because that variable by default is false. Now, if I enter something here, something random, I'm gonna hit login. We have incorrect login. And now let's say I enter the correct password, we are redirected. Okay, so that is how you implement that logic in a very quick way. There are lots of other ways of implementing it. Maybe in some of the future videos I'll talk about it. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below. But now we have been redirected to the customizable, to the personalized page here. And obviously you're gonna have a lot more information, you're gonna have a lot more things. Maybe you're gonna pull in data, maybe you're gonna have more collections. And now we know the user, now the state is known, it's known. FlutterFlow knows that the user is logged in. And so you can have a million other collections here tied to this user ID here. And you can pull information about them, and you can display it on these pages. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about today. I really hope you found this valuable. If you did, I want you to smash that like button to let others know, to let YouTube know, to let the world know that you found this video valuable and you want the YouTube gods to show this video to more people. That would be highly appreciated. Also, do not forget to leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Let me know if you want me to cover something on one of the future videos. And also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. On this channel, you will learn how to build awesome, amazing software without needing to be technical. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a future video.